All right, so what we're looking at here is we are looking at, on the right side, we have a pre-rendered Daz character. They're both Daz characters, but one is brought over from Daz to Unity on the left, URP, and one is pre-rendered in Daz Studio using kind of a rig, basically a VR rig that I created. Really easy to create in Daz Studio. And kind of looking at the differences here. Now, in all fairness, I really didn't optimize the one on the left, the Daz to Unity. There's some things I could do. And then also, this is URP. The one on the left, if this was HDRP, would look much better. But at the same time, I could not run that on a Quest 2. Unfortunately, Quest 2 will not run HDRP. Now, I would love to be proven wrong on that. So if I'm wrong on that, if there's been some changes, or if I've always been wrong on that, let me know in the comments. I would love to be wrong on this one. But as far as I know, there's no way to bring HDRP into Unity and then run it on the Quest 2. However, it is fairly easy to set up for desktop and to be able to use your Quest 2 to play things on your desktop. So we can do that. But right now we're looking at what we can accomplish just directly from in the Quest 2, in a Quest 2 build. And first of all, interactivity, there's not much I could do with the one on the right. If I wanted to, for instance, have some kind of movement, it would have to be pre-rendered. One of the cool things I could do is I could use Pose Recorder for Daz Studio. I could take the one on the left and maybe record some, images of her her head movement, and look, like that's the interactivity I'm talking about right there. I've got her with even though her eyes aren't quite right, I do have a look at a script attached to her, so she is occasionally making eye contact with the camera, even though it's not exact. I do need to fix that just a little bit, but there's an interactivity there. On the one on the right, there's probably some tricks I could do. I could probably get some interactivity with her actually looking at the camera. Like if I were to move, and this is 3 degrees of freedom, so there's not really much I could do. If I used a different camera, I could definitely walk around these two. Well, I could walk around the one on the left and have her eyes follow. The one on the right, though, no matter what I do, she's going to be in the same direction. And there are some tricks technically I could do, but it would require me to do all kinds of different renders. I would have to render, probably do an animation of the camera moving past her. And then I don't know how many frames. I'd probably have to do, 30 frames per second. And then I'd have to find a way of, as you walk past her, having it switch the image, which this is obviously a skybox that's the pre-rendered. And that's pretty much what I'd have to do is it would have to be quick. It would have to be, each frame as you move closer to her would have to be a different, image, which would get huge. I'm talking like a really huge, amount of data in that to be able to do that. With that being said, then I could also, within Daz, have something where she's looking at the camera, which is what I have right here. She's looking at the camera that with what I rendered in Daz, but I could also fix it so that she's, as you walk past, as the camera walks past where she's looking, so that when you look back at her, she's kind of following. So there's ways you could do it, but interactivity wise, it's so much easier doing it with the URP or directly in Unity. But I think we can all agree that the graphics, the fidelity, the textures are much better on the pre-rendered. I mean, it took, I didn't even render it as long as I could. I did 500 iterations, and getting up to about, I think what I noticed is about 1500 is kind of the sweet spot, where past that, it really doesn't get much better. But where the real, now the textures are one thing, and they're not, if you look kind of right above her chest, and a lot of that is lighting. There's not too much difference. In fact, I would say body-wise, we can get pretty freaking close between these two. Where it really is going to be noticeable is in the face. And a lot of it is the ears. So she's rendered on the right side at two or three subdivisions, which is going to give a lot of detail. Unfortunately, and this is another thing I would love to be proven wrong in, Daz to Unity, you can't do any subdivisions on it. So this is a base mesh on the left side. And you could just tell there's just like the nose and the mouth. The difference between base resolution and two or three subdivisions or even one subdivision is huge. And then on the ears especially, that's where when I first started doing Daz to Unity and I noticed it's like I tried everything to get the ears to look right and you just can't because it's base resolution. I would love to be proven wrong with that. I have looked at possibly switching over to Unreal because I guess you can do subdivisions in that. And I just right now I don't want to learn a whole new engine, but if I do decide to really take this to the next level, I think it's going to be necessary for me. And then of course the hair. I mean, the hair is miles better on the pre-rendered. So these are a couple things that I wanted to bring up: the pre-rendered versus the real-time rendering. The pre-rendered on the right, real-time rendering on the left. And some of the advantages and disadvantages on that. So, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do. I'm definitely leaning towards the pre-rendered because it's just look at that. It just looks that much better. And especially if I want to be able to build a story that can be told on the Quest 2. Hey, stop looking at me. Stop. Okay, never mind. But anyways, that's all I got for this video. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button. Let me know what things you would like me to show you in my journey as far as Daz Studio is concerned in VR specifically, and then also trying to tell stories in VR. All right, peace out, everybody.